This is the Hollywood Outsider, weekly entertainment podcast, where this week we are looking at upcoming releases, including Jack the Giant Slayer, 21 and Over, Scott's autobiography, and The Last Exorcism
Motherfucker!
Part 2.
Do not be stealing my jokes.
Hey, you should have had your joke on time. Review of A Good Day to Die Hard. Our From the Outside In topic this week, are there too many damn award shows, as well as our Oscar picks. The latest movie and TV news, including our own trivia segments. My name is Aaron Peterson. With me today, I'm a fellow host, Justin McCumber.
Stop reading my notes.
Scott Clark.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. See what we think of you. Brian Williams.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Just getting ready for the newest episode and the Oscars. Are you guys ready? Is anybody doing anything exciting?
I'm watching the Oscars.
Sitting there on my couch with the remote control.
So I'm the only one that really does anything for this, is what you're saying.
I'm not grilling steaks or shrimp or anything.
What are you
whatever
doing?
I usually watch it with my mom and dad and my daughter and my son if he's around, and we make steaks and crab cakes, and we have like a little event.
Nice.
Jeez. Now I'll be watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's something to be said for that, too. And if anybody didn't know, Brian pointed this out. This is the 20th anniversary of Army of Darkness.
Give me some sugar, baby.
Our I'm going to Oscar Ho contest in full effect. It ends on the 24th, so if you don't have your entry in by then you're screwed. You can enter a Blu-ray of your own choice and some bunch of other stuff. Go to the website, thehollywoodoutsider.com. Make sure the subject line says, I'm an Oscar Ho.
Did any of you guys actually see Army of Darkness in theaters?
I saw it day one.
I did. I saw it on a midnight showing.
So you're trying to say that you beat me to it?
Yeah, that's exactly what I just said.
Son of a bitch. I saw it, I think 3 times that within a week.
Damn. All right, well, you beat me on a number of viewings.
From the total box office grosses, I think we supported that entire movie.
That was half of it.
You're welcome, Bruce.
You are. All right, QED International and Groundswell are teaming up to make a Bruce Lee origin story that showcases the last fight of Lee's professional career against the backdrop of the Hong Kong Triad seizing control of San Francisco's Chinatown.
You know, I really hate this idea of taking a person who actually existed and then completely fictionalizing their life. Granted, whenever we watch a mobster movie or a movie based on real events, there's always going to be a certain amount of creative license, poetic license taken. It's never going to be as true as you want it to be. We kind of accept that that's a fact, but to take someone as well known as Bruce Lee and then just completely rewrite their history and turn him into some kind of character out of his own films, to me, is just distasteful. He still has family that are alive. I don't think it's appropriate that they can just take his name, his life, and be able to do this. He did have a run-in with triads when he was in Hong Kong as a young man. But he certainly didn't pair up with, one of the guys that he had one of the most well-known beefs with, this guy named Wong Jack Man, to go against the triads. He beat up one kid who was related to the triad. His family shipped him out of Hong Kong. End of story. Now, of course, there are some people who theorize that his death, maybe the triads had something to do with it. But this is a complete fiction, and I don't like it.
It's weird.
To me, it's kind of gross.
It's weird. It's beyond just creative or different or original. It's weird.
What would you rather see than this?
I think
a biopic.
Triads are.
They already did a biopic. They already did
Dragon.
Yeah.
Dragon. Yeah.
But the triads are already kind of linked to his, or at least thought to be involved in whatever happened to him. So I think Justin's right, and I hate to say that, but it's just poor taste. Really poor
Scotty,
taste.
did he have a bad look on his face when he said that?
He looked like he was trying to hold back some bile as he said that.
I bet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is this whole story fiction, or is this actual truth?
No, they're
or what?
mixing fact and fiction. They're kind of
A
combining.
lot more fiction than fact.
But don't you think that in a lot of people's minds that aren't hardcore Bruce Lee fans already have that gray area of like what's real in his life and what's in the movies.
I just think that, okay, then don't call him Bruce Lee. You know, if you want to use that back, use a different character. But to use a real person and use parts of their real life and try to blend fact and fiction, it's just not appropriate. I don't think it's appropriate. And normally we don't care. You know, we're all for it being inappropriate. Last week we talked about how much we didn't like Jesus.
But wouldn't they have
or how
to
much
have,
Justin doesn't like Jesus.
I mean, if this is such a distasteful thing, I can't imagine they can do that without the permission of the family. Who owns the property of
Bruce Lee?
Bruce Lee? I mean, is that owned by the family or
Well, I'm sure his wife has something.
the name? They allowed it.
You know, the legality of this, I really don't know who would have to have signed off on this, if anyone had to. I don't know. Obviously, they've gotten whatever permissions or workarounds that they need to make this film, but it's gross. I don't care for it. And if they had tried to do the guy, his life with a minimal amount of fudging, all right, but to just take him and suddenly turn him into a character, a superhero, it's wrong.
Because I didn't get any of the fiction part of this, you know, the information that you sent out with it. But
Well, the description of this is that the film will, it's set against the backdrop of the Hong Kong Triad's criminal control of San Francisco's Chinatown, and the film will also detail a team-up between the two legends to take on the Triads. The fight with Wong Jack Man was the last official one of Lee's career before he turned to acting. So it's basically taking Bruce Lee and the guy that he was, the last guy he fought before becoming a big-time actor, pairing them together is, I guess, you know, Batman and Robin, and taking the fight to the Triads, none of which ever happened.
I hope there's some bam and wow in there.
All right, stupid question, because I've seen like the
Well,
last
it's
15
coming
minutes
from
of
you, so yeah.
one Bruce Lee movie. What is Triads? Is that a mob?
Triads are a
mob thing
Chinese
in China?
criminal organization.
Okay. I assume, but I've never heard it before. So
You're going to teach children?
yeah, I'm sure there's all sorts of information about triads in fourth grade.
surely
Social
they
studies.
popped up in some video game at some point.
I haven't finished Sleeping Dogs yet.
They're like the Yakuza or something like that. I mean, they're almost so cliche that it's almost hard to believe that they're actually real.
Okay.
All right, Drive's Nicholas Winding Refn, whatever the fuck is out. And Rise of the Planet of the Apes director Rupert Wyatt is in as the new director for Denzel Washington's Equalizer film adaptation of the TV series. Meanwhile, see if you can get all this in one. Meanwhile, the sequel, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, is going to star Zero Dark 30's Jason Clarke.
All right, let's start off talking about this Equalizer film, which is a film adaptation of the TV series. It's one I've never seen. It's one you're a big fan of, though, you said.
I like it, yeah.
I read up
I'm a big fan. That's stretching.
Okay. Well, I read up a little bit on it, and from what I read, I think that Nicholas Refn, how do you say his name?
He should change it. Just change it.
The F is silent. I'm not as much on the hate train with Drive as Brian is, but I think that style of film, the super artsy, going for something new and different kind of thing, is not going to work for this theme. I like that the guy from Planet of the Apes is doing that. I think that's more fitting. Mm-hmm. But I got to see more to get really excited about it. As far as Planet of the Apes, Jason Clarke, that's the guy that played the American torturer, more or less. I'm interested, but what happened to what happened to the Pineapple Express guy? I can't remember his name right now.
The Pineapple Express guy, really?
James Franco?
James
Wow.
Franco.
Well, I hope he listens to this.
I mean,
That's what you remembered from Franco.
Well, that's his best role so far.
Wow, poor guy.
what name a better role?
127 hours, the one he was Oscar nominated
Okay,
for.
yeah, I'll give you 127 hours.
What was I thinking?
God, the Spider-Man movies?
Yeah.
Hello?
Ew.
Okay, now you're being sarcastic, and I don't appreciate that shit.
Oh, you picked up on that?
Yeah, I did. I'm just glad they're making a sequel, because I really liked the last one. Mm-hmm. I wish Rupert Wyatt was doing this, though, instead of an Equalizer film, but that's fine. I like Jason Clarke, though. He's a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
Batman's Christian Bale is next tackling Everest. It's a film showcasing two groups in 1996 trying to scale the famous mountain.
Yeah, it didn't turn out too well.
Spoiler alert.
Well, you know, speaking of spoiler alerts, it's now I don't know if I don't think the movie itself is based on the book, but John Krakauer, who wrote into thin air was on this expedition with one of these teams that was trying to scale it. And so this book that he wrote, that Into Thin Air, is actually about this same event. So if you've read it, you pretty much know what the movie's about. But like you said, there's a couple of teams, I think of around 33 people thereabouts, that went up between, combined between the two teams, and roughly a quarter of them or so don't make it. So just letting you know.
I hope you don't do the description when it comes out. Jesus. Here's your suspense.
You got a movie. I mean, why else would you make a movie about two teams scaling Mount Everest?
Well, I hope Tarantino directs it so that we don't know who makes it out alive, because he changes shit.
We're doing artistic liberties. We're going to change the story about real people and
Hitler
do it for Bruce Lee. It'll work for Everest, right?
It's actually some guy that's got about as easy of a name to pronounce as Nicholas Winding Refn Snargen.
I think Brian said it right. Michael Mann and Chris Hemsworth. And there's not much known about it yet, but they're teaming up for an untitled cyber thriller. Are you guys think it's good to see Michael Mann back?
I am. I know a lot of people didn't like the Miami Vice movie. I loved it. I loved Collateral. I love Heat. Ali, I thought was, not great, but not bad. Certainly, The Insider is a great film. I like Michael Mann, and so anything he does, I'm immediately interested in. Something else, though, that makes me interested in this, and this will please Scotty, that the film is being co-written by Mann plus a guy named Morgan Davis Faul, who's also penning the Mass Effect script for Legendary. We have no idea what this movie is about. All we know is that it's about some kind of cyber attacks, threats. Hemsworth is going to be starring in it. I have no idea who he's going to be playing. No offense, Chris. I can't see you as the brilliant hacker sitting at the keyboard.
I was just thinking the same thing.
As the dubstep plays in the background. I'm assuming
he's just sitting there swinging his big hammer on the keyboard.
And by his hammer, he doesn't mean, that's a joke for another time. I'm assuming he's going to be doing a lot of running, shooting. But it's Michael Mann, so I'm already halfway there.
Where art thou, X's and O's?
What?
What
the some other
firewall?
Wow. I want to see the movie with him swinging the hammer around in the keyboard. Hack this, bitches. Okay, let's go to the whole meal, Scotty.
All right, the whole meal. Every once in a while, something comes up that may not yet be confirmed, but does bear mentioning. This week, Latino Review, that great news source, although they have had some pretty solid average for this kind of scoop, they confirmed that Harrison Ford will be reprising the role of Han Solo for Star Wars Episode 7.
Sepsis?
Sepsis. But while at first this was yet to be confirmed by Disney, actually there was another article that came out where Mark Hamill actually kind of did a little bit of confirmations, and he did say that although there were no contracts signed yet, and the story's elements are somewhat speculation, he's more or less alluding to the fact that the rumors about Skywalker children potentially being involved is a very good possibility. But he also did say that he wants to see everybody on board and not just one actor, that being Harrison Ford. So, again, that's more what Mark Hamill wants, not necessarily what Disney wants, but we'll see. Bottom line, signs point towards the story following the Skywalker Solo legacy. So what do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I don't know who Latino Review's resources are, but damn, they're pretty good because they do have a pretty good track record with dropping some knowledge before. They're almost like the TMZ of movie news or something. But anyway, Mark Hamill, I know he kind of, for the most part, he pretty much confirmed it. But he just, in that little article that was about him, it just seemed a little bit like the kid that's just jumping up and down, Christmas morning. Mm-hmm. He seems like the guy, Dan Aykroyd with Ghostbusters.
Oh, God, don't.
The overzealous guy that just really wants this to happen so much so he can get a paycheck. Because he hasn't worked really, anything big in a while, so he wants to be a part of it. Rightfully so. Can't blame him. I'd be totally stoked too, but he just seems like that. Oh, yeah, this is happening, blah, 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 blah. And, somebody's going to have to, I don't know, strap him up with duct tape and hide him in the closet for a little bit till some of these deals get worked out.
My favorite part of that when you're reading it is he keeps saying how the contracts aren't in order because me and Carrie Fisher, we haven't hammered out our contracts, so I'm sure it's the same with Harrison. And all I wanted to reply to that was, you guys aren't Harrison Ford. I think they'd lock him down long before you two. And I don't mean that rude. I just mean I think they care more about getting Harrison Ford to come back.
And I don't know if I want to see Carrie Fisher.
God!
In Star Wars anymore.
Hey,
she's gonna be like
CGI
drinking malt liquor, smoking a cigarette with her kids.
Doing lines of coke next to Jabba.
I don't know. CGI did a horrible job with Jabba the Hutt when they squeezed him into one of those older versions, one of the older movies. So I don't know if there's enough CGI or Weta or Lucasfilm or ILM or whatever, Pixar, that can fix that.
Let's not pick on the ladies now. Mark Hamill, looking a little rough as himself.
Yeah.
What has he done?
There's a reason he's been doing a lot of voice work and not a lot of camera work.
Yeah, his face looks like a screen. It's got so many holes in his cheek.
God, man.
Wasn't that like a motorcycle accident he had? Like right before?
Yeah, but that was between episodes 4 and 5.
Yeah, 4 and 5.
Which is why they had that snow beast rip his face off.
Right.
No,
but it doesn't go away.
He had a life accident. That's what he had.
Yeah, but the thing is I know, I want to say that I know. I feel sure that Mark Hamill wants to do this. Carrie Fisher probably wants to do this. I think they all feel the weight of Star Wars, not just on them, but what it's done for them and their careers. I mean, Harrison Ford aside, and of course Billy Dee always had, Colt.
He's just Billy
45 to fall back on, but Harrison, especially Mark Hamill, if you don't watch cartoons, you could probably think the guy's dead because he really hasn't done much. These films were really what propelled them, all of them, into stardom. Again, Harrison Ford kind of aside. Indiana Jones would have done it too, but I'm sure they all want to be involved. Just things need to get hammered out. But the idea of doing a film with the Skywalker children, or call them the Solo children, under the tutelage of Mark Hamill's Skywalker. If they're going to start pulling from the books and the new Jedi Academy and all that, I seriously am getting more stoked the more information starts coming out. It's all I can do just to not rush out to California and force my way into working on this. Force
your way into
Yeah. Wow.
I disagree. I don't think Carrie Fisher wants anything to do with this. I don't know if you've seen any interviews or anything with her. I saw her.
I try to avoid her face.
One of the roasts, whatever, which I know it isn't like canon or anything like that, but she just doesn't look like she even cares about Star Wars anymore. Someone brings it up. She just looks like annoyed any time anybody brings it up.
I've seen an interview with her where she said she would only do it if George asked her. And that's the last interview I saw, and that was a couple of years ago. So
if George asked her, or if George asked her and was involved?
I think she just said if George asked her.
Was that before Disney took over?
I don't have the timeline, no.
Well, I figured you would know if it was more than 4 months ago.
You would have to show me the movie without her for me to believe that she will not do it.
I think you pay her enough money, she needs more blow. And
that's true.
Mark Hamill, he's probably doing it with her. Harrison Ford's the only one that doesn't need the money. He's doing just fine. Even when his career is bottomed out, he's still doing better than them.
I think they'd be better if they had a more minor role like Nimoy did in the Star Trek reboot.
I don't think they're going to have a big role. I don't think anybody wants them to have a big role. I think they just want it to basically introduce the franchise and get it going again.
Be the catalyst between
I could see Hamill having a bigger role than the other two.
I don't know, man. Harrison Ford's the money.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, but but story-wise, this really seems to be all circling around the Han Solo, Princess Leia children, which are obviously going to, be a part of some kind of a new Jedi rising up. And if it's going to be about a new Jedi, then you have to have Skywalker overseeing all of that. So I don't know. All I know is I want to see it. They need to fucking finish this. I could die tomorrow. Let's get this done.
Welcome to Brian's Trailer Park. All right, this first one's for you, Aaron. It's basically the trailer for the new TV show called Bates Motel about the young Norman Bates and his bond with his mother. We're not real sure on. He actually looks a little bit like a ladies' man, so we're not real sure if he's just kind of one of those fucked up at birth, or if his mother fucks him up at, raising him because she's a little too attached. Is she crazy? Is she just trying to do good by her son, but just kind of goes about it the wrong way? But it looks pretty good. They've got a great cast, and I'm kind of anxious to see about this because I know they're going to they're going to make it a tragedy, which means that you're going to like Norman at some point. Mm-hmm. And of course, the way things inevitably will end out is not good. But I don't know. What do you think about it, Aaron? You're the big Hitchcock guy.
Well, I've been the one that wasn't really excited about it too. I mean, I'm curious the direction they're going. They're kind of making it its own thing. I respect that. I don't know how they're selling Norman. It looks like he's going to have a little girlfriend in the show. So obviously, there's a lot more to the story and like Brian said, how does he get fucked up? They don't do enough in the trailer with the mom relationship, but I'm sure that's something that's going to be played out over time. So I'm curious. My mom is really stoked for this. She saw the trailer and went nuts. So I don't know. Take it for what you will. I'm excited to see where they go with it. I just hope it doesn't ruin something that's kind of important to me. So
I went into it kind of not expecting a whole lot, much like you, not full on against it like you did, but I was actually pleasantly surprised. First off, I blinked and Freddie Highmore grew up.
Is that the Willy Wonka guy?
Yeah, Willy Wonka and Finding Neverland. He was a little kid, Spiderwick Chronicles. He's just like a full-grown adult now. But it looked a little cheesy.
That happens with years.
It gave me a little, I hate to say it, but like a CW vibe or something. Like it just had a little cheesy teen thing feeling going on, but it still intrigued me. And if you haven't seen the trailer, it's one of those that they don't show just footage, but they're also showing interviews with some of the staff, some of the cast, and some of the crew and that kind of thing. And one of the things that stuck out to me is that they're not calling it a remake, but a reimagining. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you're kind of
like Bruce Lee.
Kind of like Bruce Lee.
I'm interested to see where they go, and what I think is going to be most interesting is to see what they do with the final episode or the final shot, to see how they somehow tie it into the movie. I wonder what direction they're going to go.
I'll give it a couple episodes.
Yeah,
I think it looks really, really cool.
I think it does too.
Yeah, I'm kind of on board with this. I'm kind of anxious to check this out. Now, Aaron, do you think this would, whether you like it or despise it, do you think that it will play into your love for the original movie?
Not anymore. I've kind of gotten to the point where I can tune that stuff out. Otherwise,
compartmentalize it and just love it for what it is.
The remake, shot-for-shot remake, kind of already put me to the test on that one. If that wouldn't fuck it up, nothing will. So, I'm going to keep it separate. Psycho's always going to be its own thing, but I really just don't want it to give me so much backstory and really dumb narrative. If it's going to go backstory, I want smart narrative. Mm-hmm. So I don't want just, my daddy left me and that's why I'm sad and that's why I want to kill people and embalm them.
Well, it seems like there's a lot more going on but they're still being pretty vague about it in the trailer.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see where it goes. I mean, it's an intriguing premise and I hope they can handle it.
That's A&E, right?
Mm-hmm. That's A&E.
Yeah, A&E. And this may be one of their little launching shows for some pretty good moves like AMC has made over the recent years. So,
well, we can always hope for more Pawn Stars too.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, from some fucked up taxidermy to, some internship, which is what.
Wow.
I was trying to work up some technology or whatever. Anyway, it's we got the internship coming up next with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. They're teaming up again. It's been a while since Wedding Crashers, so it doesn't look like they missed any comedic steps there, though. It looks pretty good. They're basically a couple of 40-something-year-old guys whose business goes under, and they're left trying to find a job. So they find Vince Vaughn comes up with a great idea to try to get on at Google, and basically the movie's about their struggle with a bunch of, as they say in the trailer, it's like Hunger Games with a bunch of geniuses. So they're all struggling to find a job out there, which a lot of people out there are. So I can only imagine this is a giant recruitment film for Google. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it looks funny at all or what?
recruitment film for Google. I don't think they got people. I think they got people lining up wanting to work there. I don't think they need recruiters, but I'm 100% on board. I think this looks hilarious. Those two together are really funny, in my opinion, and I think it really hits that quote aging '80s niche audience very well. You know that.
Hey, what the fuck are you trying to say?
I'm saying that some people are.
You got three 80s era guys.
Hey, I was in the 80s. I was in the 80s.
You were born in the
tail end
80s.
of it.
You were shitting in your diaper in the 80s.
No, but I mean, there's people in their 40s. I think, Justin, you're not 40 yet, are you?
I am 40.
40?
We're-
There's
you know
people
what?
in their 41s that are.
Three of us, it doesn't matter. You can round up, and we're all hit 40. So just watch where you're
Well,
stepping.
you guys are technology savvy. There's a lot of people in their 40s that, you know, if
You mean
can't
technologically savvy?
technologically savvy.
It's a good thing we got a few years on you.
She's savvy, are you?
I'm grammatically savvy, but there's a lot of people that just, you know, that need to get with the times, so to speak, as far as technology comes, and I think that's true to life a little bit in this, and I think it's going to make some really good comedic elements.
Am I the only one who felt like this was just weak Wedding Crashers?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I want to laugh. I love Wedding Crashers. It is hysterical. Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson together are just a great pair, and I went into watching this trailer really kind of expecting to be laughing my ass off, and by the time it was done, there were a couple of honest chuckles, but for the most part, it just seemed like cut scenes from Wedding Crashers or something. Just, it didn't have that same sense of excitement and funny that Wedding Crashers did. And I don't know if it's just me expecting too much or what, but I definitely was not blown away by this trailer.
We need a Red Band trailer.
Maybe. I guess we do. I mean, Vince Vaughn needs every fuck to make it through.
I love Vince Vaughn. I don't really care for Owen Wilson, but when those two together, they're usually pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
I was mostly just like, the whole trailer. I mean, there's a couple funny bits. You know, the part where do you want to have a beer with your boss, and everybody's like, no, and they're like, yeah, if you want to have a beer with me,
The
we'll
ping
go.
pong paddle.
Yeah, the ping pong paddle. I like that scene, and there's a couple other little ones. But there's a lot of jokes that just fall flat. And the Professor Xavier scene, that was hysterical.
That was funny. That's
well,
a great. Go ask for a professor.
They tell him to go
do you
find
think
Professor
we've
X.
kind of maybe past the era, almost like it's maybe like this was like a little window in cinematic time where maybe like the Ben Stiller / Vince Vaughn gang of people, we've kind of past that humor, because they were good about creating a comedy around maybe just finding a certain aspect that you really didn't know too much about, you know, dodgeball, you know, with the wedding crash. I mean, the subculture of crashing weddings and stuff like that. And granted,
Is there really a subculture?
there is. I mean, maybe not quite. Maybe that's a little bit too big of a word, but there is a great thing out there, or not a great thing, but there is a lot of people do it or have done it.
Brian doesn't want to reveal too much about his past.
So
I don't
anyway,
know.
it just kind of seems like that these Ben Stiller type movies with his kind of gang of people, it's just kind of like they're not as funny anymore.
There's been a large number of these movies that just haven't hit over and over and over. How many Night of the Museums and the Watches can you have before you start going, I don't know, guys. I still think Vince Vaughn has it. I really like Vince Vaughn, always have. This movie looks bland. Doesn't look funny. It looks just okay.
I think it looks hilarious.
Yeah, but you're simple.
We're older and more refined.
That's right.
That's right. We're 40-somethings.
You say
dick.
older, I say seasoned.
I say can afford all the toys you want.
I got some seasoned balls I'm about to drop on your nose.
Jesus, wrap this up.
Teabag.
Where can we watch these trailers at, Brian?
All right. Well, the internship opens on June 7th later this year. You can watch these trailers and those from some recent episodes at thehollywoodoutsiders.com. If you got any thoughts or topic ideas you want us to discuss, just let us know a number of different ways. You can let us know on Twitter at H_outsider. Go to facebook.com/the Hollywood Outsider. Let us know there, or you could also email us, which a lot of you love to do, and we appreciate that, at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. And don't forget, you can still get your I'm a Ho t-shirts at thehollywoodoutsiders.com.
Stump the Hoe.
Stump the Hoe. Each week, one of our hosts poses a trivia question to the remaining hosts in an attempt to stump their fellow hoes. This week, it's Brian's turn. He just can't stop talking.
I just can't. Just give me the mic and I'm just, pull my string.
I'm going to let you finish.
All right. Well, a few minutes ago, we were talking about Michael Mann and how many great crime movies he's been a part of. Heat, Collateral, bunch of other stuff. So he, a long time ago, back in the 70s, Scott, I don't even know if you were born yet.
Nope.
He used to write for a very popular crime series. Which one was it? Starsky and Hutch, Hawaii Five-0, Kojak, or Chips?
Who is it we're talking about?
Michael Mann.
Oh, I know this. I think Kojak.
I'm going to go with Starsky and Hutch.
I'm going to go with Chips.
Well, the correct answer is Starsky and Hutch.
Fuck.
Justin is our big winner.
Another Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson movie, too.
Yep.
Son of a bitch.
And Ben Stiller.
And
that movie sucked.
I liked that movie. I thought it was funny.
Oh, it was awful.
Well, I'm sorry you hate fun. Now let's go over to the big screen where we're going to review A Good Day to Die Hard. What?
Coming from you.
Yeah.
Mr. No Heart Aaron.
I bring the joy. That's what I do. Brian and I went and saw A Good Day to Die Hard. I know we talked about it that we were all going to see it, but apparently Brian and I are the only ones that listen to the show.
Yeah, it's crazy swimming in the ocean.
What is it about? A Good Day to Die Hard. Bruce Willis returns for his fifth go-round as John McClane. This time his son is on trial for a murder in Mother Russia, and John McClane pops on over to help. Turns out his son is a CIA agent. I don't know if I think I started to pronounce that as a word. Who's undercover to protect an informant out who apparently has the evidence to bring down some random Russian diplomat. And also there's something to do with Chernobyl. It's really hard to say because the story makes zero sense. What did you think of the story, Brian?
Just exactly that. It just really made no sense. It just kind of starts. There wasn't enough of the story to really connect with the characters. You didn't really. You knew that he was going after his son. There wasn't really enough lead up into really why he was going. Why is he all of a sudden feeling like he's got to go to Russia to save his son? He mentions he hasn't talked to him in a few years, etc. That part somewhat is explained later. But it was very weak, very, very thin.
You pointed out best to me when you said there's no urgency, where Die Hard, consistently has an urgent plot. Has to, he's trying to save the world, and he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be there, but he has to. He's forced to. This movie doesn't have any of that. There's really no urgency at all that I saw, and honestly, McClane doesn't do a whole hell of a lot until about midway through the flick.
Yeah, he just he's a bumbling old man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he is.
Krampa goes to Russia with an Uzi.
Mr. Magoo with a machine gun.
Mr. Magoo might be a stretch.
All right, his vision's a little bit better. I'll give him that.
It just doesn't feel like a Die Hard movie. There is no. Yeah. He feels like he wants to go on this ride, and and the story is not deep or it's not being propelled or anything. There's really no reason for a lot of it. They both should have stopped their pursuit a long time before they do. I don't know. The acting wise, Bruce Willis, I think he's trying to keep the franchise going, even though the film around him seems like it doesn't completely fit. I mean, he's still John McClane. I just don't think they did enough to let him be John McClane.
No, he totally wasn't. I mean, I agree with you. I thought he was, with a little bit that he was acting, really, I guess it was pretty good. It felt like the dialogue was very minimal. Mm-hmm. Did you pick up on that? Like it really felt like there was, like, we're just going to get the bare amount of words in this movie that we possibly can.
Mm-hmm. I think they're just McClane and Jesus is all you hear for like the first half of the movie. John, McClane, or Jesus. That's it.
Right. Exactly. And it was just even his lines are just they're just vapid, just words. let's go.
Yeah.
Or,
And a really good piece of dialogue would be John McClane. Jesus. You know, I mean,
Trick question.
Jack!
John McClane is Jesus.
Jack,
yeah, or Jack, yeah. I forgot.
Jack.
What about Jai Courtney, who plays Junior? What'd you think of him? I thought he was really bland.
Yeah, I mean, I can, I can see him landing other roles and stuff. I wasn't exactly impressed with him. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't exactly believable as his son. If he would have been more, if he would have played the role of a friend or former colleague, maybe a rookie cop that McClane helped bring in, or help groom or something a few years ago, I think that probably would have felt better. But he's just, you could have taken him out and put somebody else in, and I wouldn't have missed him.
It's weird. I think the only reason they cast him is because he's got a giant oval head, just like Bruce Willis. That's all I can see.
Yeah, he's a big Joker though.
I agree with you though.
He's
And
Australian too.
Yeah, he is. In Jack Reacher, he's really good. He plays the villain in Jack Reacher, and he's really good in that. But this, just boring. This, none of the McClane charisma. I wish I said charisma again. God damn it.
You can't do an episode without
I can't
saying
do it
charisma.
without saying it. But the last movie where they had his daughter seemed like John McClane's daughter. Seemed like his kid. Mm-hmm. This seems like his adopted kid. You know, maybe his uncle, like it's his nephew. Doesn't really seem like his boy. The villains, Yulika Snegar, I think is how you pronounce her name. She plays Irina. I liked her. She has a pretty substantial role in the film. And the guy whose name I cannot pronounce, I'm not even going to bother. His name's Alec. He plays Alec in the movie. I really liked him, but outside of that, there wasn't really a memorable villain in the whole franchise or the whole.
Oh, absolutely.
The whole film.
There's definitely no Hans Gruber. I mean,
No.
There's no sense of evil there. There's, as I mentioned in our little YouTube thing, Alec guy, I would just about much rather seen a movie full of him. I liked him.
Yeah, he was a little wacky, but I liked him.
But I also said I like those villains that have a sense of manners, politeness, a little bit of humor, a little bit off their kilter, a little bit. So, and I thought he did a pretty good job.
Before we wrap up, what did you think about the direction? That's a big one for the movie. What did you think about John Moore?
Oh, how is he still working?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's just I just don't know. I don't know how they got this approved. They should have stopped production on this like they did with G.I. Joe.
I agree. I think John Moore should have been fired the minute producers started watching the dailies. He can't shoot this entire movie, and it's only 97 minutes, which is the shortest Die Hard movie out of all of them, and it feels so fucking long. And he doesn't shoot one single minute of compelling action or a coherent story in the whole movie. And there's an entire action scene with the car chase where I couldn't understand what car, who was doing what, who was in what car. McClane is just, destroying all of Russia, and nobody apparently wants to pull him over or anything. And that never even comes up in the story, which makes no fucking sense. This random American is just destroying Russia, and nobody cares. It's just...
and like you say, there's a long car chase about in the first third of the movie that, like you say, half of Moscow should be in rubble, just should be torn to the ground. But it was boring. It was, I don't know. I've seen cartoons make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
The special effects was horrible. You can see cars blowing up and shooting straight up in the air that are lined up in a tight alley that this big truck is driving through. They're being popped up in the air, I don't know, 2 car lengths before the truck even gets there.
It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely atrocious.
And they're making him Superman. They're making him into the complete and total action star. Where there's one scene where a truck flips around like 47 times, no airbag, nothing, lands on the top end. So his head should be crushed. His giant melon head should be crushed. And he just gets out of the truck and he's like, shit. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. He gets out and he says, Jesus.
Trucks where the steering wheel is practically mounted on the windshield.
What's your final verdict?
My final verdict, it's, again, there's no story. The direction's horrible. Special effects are silly. It did appeal to a certain extent, that primitive brain that just likes to sit there and look at some pretty pictures and a lot of guns and a lot of shit blow up. So I've got to, I said this before, I'm rounding up. I wanted to give it a 4.5, so I'm just going to give it the benefit of the doubt, round it up to an even 5, and hopefully really never watch it again. Absolutely the worst Die Hard movie ever made. They should just take the words Die Hard out of it and just call it A Good Day 2 ellipsis or something. I don't care.
I agree. John McClane I think he needs one more shot so they can end this series right. I would hate for this to be the last movie. This film shouldn't have happened. This film was a standard basic action flick. It's not a Die Hard movie. I hate saying that. I'm a huge, huge fan of the franchise. One of my favorite action movies of all time is Die Hard, and I like all of them except this one. Poorly shot, boring action. John Moore should never get to work again. He also did Max Payne, if you're wondering which fucker he is. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10, and honestly, if Bruce Willis wouldn't have been giving it his best, it would have been a lot lower, so very disappointed.
Real quick before we go on to side effects, if they do it next, another one, what angle would you like to see? Would you like to see them pass the baton to somebody else, like his son?
No.
Hopefully played by somebody else?
What I would like to see, I would like it to go back to its roots a little bit. I would like to see him in a smaller situation. I don't want to see the wild, crazy action. I want to see something on a smaller scale with a more intimate villain where he gets to be John McClane again. Where he gets to be, the guy trapped and doesn't want to be part of this.
Right.
The last movie managed to do that and create a ridiculous situation, but it also managed to stay as kind of true to the roots, except for the wrestling the hair here. Outside of that, it stayed true to the roots. I think it needs to go back to that and let John McClane be John McClane. If you want to make another James Bond movie, then make a James Bond movie. But don't make whatever this is again. And I think they'll make another one because it's doing really well overseas. So.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm. And I also saw Side Effects. It came out 2 weeks ago, but Rooney Mara stars as Emily. She's a depressed woman whose husband, Martin, played by Channing Tatum, who's in every other movie besides Die Hard, is released from prison. After she suffers several traumatic episodes, she seeks the help of a psychiatrist played by Jude Law. Jude Law is handling some new drugs, so what he does is he puts her on the latest antidepressant, which in turn turns out to cause a violent change in Emily. Catherine Zeta-Jones pops up as Emily's former shrink, and the rest of the film, I'd be giving away way too much if I told you any more about it. So stay away from the trailer, by the way, because the trailer gives away way too much. I think it's a good, solid thriller from director Steven Soderbergh, where I stress, again, to avoid the trailer. The film plays out much different than I imagined. I think I went in thinking it was going to be a film either talking about side effects from pharmaceutical drugs, like talking about the pains of taking antidepressants or some of that. It's not. It's a thriller all the way through, and it's very much a mystery. You're trying to figure out what really is going on. It's definitely worth a catch in the theaters, too, because there's not many really solid thrillers out that you can see in a theater anymore. Rooney Mara is a wonderful actress, and I'm glad she's continuing to grow. I would like to see her do a lot more. She's very talented. Tatum, he's pretty solid. It's a really small role, though, so if you think it's a Channing Tatum movie, you're going to the wrong thing. Go rent Magic Mike, because he's barely in it. And Jude Law, wonderful job. I've never been a fan of his. Outside of the Sherlock Holmes movies, I don't like him. But he's someone who does it. He's a really interesting shrink. He's trying to do the right thing. He realizes some things don't add up, and he basically turns into an investigator for the latter half of the movie. It's really interesting. So he does a really good job. If $10 is the full price of admission, this one's worth $7.
That's better than I was expecting. That trailer had no interest on me.
It was really good. And Scott, you saw Alex Cross.
I did. I got a chance to watch this weekend, actually. And Alex Cross is a character in several mystery books by James Patterson. He's kind of a well-known character. He's played by Morgan Freeman in some of the other movies like Kiss the Girls and Along Came a Spider. This one stars Tyler Perry as Alex Cross. And what can I tell you about this story? There's not much to tell you. It's completely bland. Good guy versus bad guy. Alex Cross has to get the bad guy, who's played by Matthew Fox, who's obsessed with pain and giving other people pain. That's pretty much all you got to know. I mean, there's nothing super interesting that happens. I went into this really wanting to like Tyler Perry as Alex Cross. Does
he put on a dress ever?
No.
I don't want to see it.
Especially, I mean, he's known for the Medea movies and that kind of thing. I've wanted to see something really positive because of his cameo in Star Trek and that other new movie that he's got coming out. Justin will remember the name better than I will. But every scene that
Why
he's
would
in,
I
The
Well,
trailer.
I was about to say, like, why would I remember? But yeah, we were talking about it last week. Oh gosh, and I don't remember, but it's about cheating. Oh, intimate. Blah, blah. I forget. Sorry, Tyler. My bad.
anyway, every scene that he's in this movie just feels like he's acting.
Well, he is technically.
He is acting, but a good actor can pull it off and make it seem like he's not acting, and he really.
So he needs a dress.
Yes, he needs a dress.
Just think. Now, take the film before you finish, and I don't want to cut you off. Take the film as you saw it, and just picture if Alex Cross wore a dress the whole movie. Would it have been better?
No.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Granted, I understand it's hard to follow Morgan Freeman, but still, I think someone could have been a better job than Tyler Perry did. Plus, it doesn't help, too. Granted, I watched this on DVD. It's not a fault of the film itself. But when you watch it on DVD, they show the clip from Medea's recent movie right before it. So immediately I'm turned off to him as playing anything. So it's hard to get into it. But Matthew Fox, on the other hand, is good. I really enjoyed him as a villain. I bought him being this total psychopath bad guy. And he has a pretty cool scene towards the end, but it was not enough to get really excited about the movie. I actually only gave it a 3 out of 10.
Oh, shit.
I mean, there was nothing really good about this at all.
I think Brian would make a better Alex Cross.
Alex
totally
Cross with a southern
agree.
accent.
White guy with a southern accent would be better than Tyler Perry. Unless he put the dress on. I'm
Yeah,
telling
then you
you.
have to go all Al Jolson, and that's just not appropriate.
It's just not appropriate.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello.
Let's go to box office before we get arrested. A Good Day to Die Hard opened at number 1, but not nearly. It's like half of what they expected. $24.8 million for a $33 million total. They were forecasting like 40 to 50 million bucks, and then as the reviews came in and it was scathingly bad, the grosses got lower and lower as a weekend.
That's why I didn't go see it.
But
Yep,
overseas,
pretty much.
I'm glad you don't mind disappointing their listeners. Overseas, it's made over 100 million bucks already, total worldwide. So it's already going to be a profitable movie. Good for them. Identity Thief held really well with 23.6 million. It's made 70 million. It's going to be at least $100 million.
Has
Safe?
Rex Reed died of ass cancer yet?
Not yet, but he's en route. He just hasn't checked his ass recently.
I'm doubting that.
Safe Haven. God, Justin.
Here's hoping for polyps.
Listen to last week's if you don't know what we're talking about. Safe Haven, 21.4 million. That's the latest Nicholas Sparks flick. It's made 30 million because it was a huge Valentine's Day hit too. Escape from Planet Earth did actually okay. Made 16 million bucks over the weekend. It's a small budget CGI movie. And Beautiful Creatures, which everybody thought was going to be the next big young adult franchise, made 7.5 million. It's not.
Do you think Safe Haven ate into a lot of their profits? Because they both are marketed at quite a similar audience.
I do, and I think people misjudge Nicholas Sparks, man. Every one of his movies is a hit. I mean, women love the Sparks. The
Yeah,
Sparks
Beautiful
fly.
Creatures doesn't look terrible, but I would have thought it would have done better too. But when I saw Safe Haven number 3, I was like, yeah, I bet that's where a lot of their money went.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we have got 5 films, so we're going to try and go through these a little quicker than normal. All of them opening up on March 1st. The first one, Phantom. No, this isn't the Dean Koontz movie with Ben Affleck. This is a new one. This is a military drama about a Soviet submarine during the Cold War. Todd Robinson wrote and directed the film. It stars Ed Harris, David Duchovny, and William Fichtner. The film tells the story of a Russian submarine captain attempting to prevent a war. The haunted captain holds the fate of the world in his hands. Forced to leave his family behind, he's charged with leading a covert mission cloaked in mystery. Honestly, when I first saw the trailer for this, I thought it was a direct-to-video movie, so you can probably imagine my expectations on this one are low. Any interest on this one, Brian, or would you just rather torpedo it and be done?
I was hoping it was the Billy Zane movie they were kind of remastering for re-release. The
Punch
the
Evil,
Phantom.
was that it?
Something like that. That was probably what killed his career. No, not at all. I love the cast, and it just looks absolutely horrible. I kind of thought the same thing, like, oh, this is a straight to the Walmart cheap bin. But no, I was kind of surprised to see this is actually being released. But I don't know what anybody in Hollywood is thinking, but this looks absolutely like a ridiculous idea to put in the theaters, because this looks bad. And I love submarine movies, stuff like that, but this looks atrocious.
Anybody else got a thought?
That pretty much sums it up.
Nope. Next.
Yeah, Phantoms are going to be the only ones seeing that piece of shit. All right, The Last Exorcism II, Laster Exorcismer. Now, this is a horror film directed by Ed Gass Donnelly. It stars Ashley Bell, Andrew Sinsnig, and Spencer Treat Clark. It's a sequel to 2010's The Last Exorcism, which apparently wasn't that last. But unlike its predecessor, it's not presented in a found footage format. Continuing where the first film left off, Nell Sweetser, played by Ashley Bell, is found alone and terrified in the woods. Back in the relative safety of civilization, Nell realizes that she can't remember entire portions of the previous months, only that she is the last surviving member of her family. Just as Nell begins the difficult process of starting a new life, the evil force that once possessed her is back with other unimaginably horrific plans that meant her last exorcism was just the beginning. Aaron, you're a massive horror fan, as am I. Are you excited by the change in style for this sequel? Because honestly, the only way I could be more as excited is if I was possessed and now two people in one body.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you found it funny.
He laughs at his own jokes.
I did.
That's the best part.
I love when Justin tells everybody how brilliant he is.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the last one. I just thought it was okay. I do like the change that they're making because they're staying with the same characters, but they're making it a real movie. I like that. I think that's an interesting take. I didn't like how they did it with Blair Witch because that didn't work out well. But I'm curious to see what they do with this. There's a little bit of buzz saying that the movie's going to be good, so I'm willing to give it a shot. How's that? If it was a matinee or something.
Good enough. Anybody else?
I really want to like this, but I'm worried that it's too little, too late. I think maybe. And as much as I love the found footage movies, and I think they're a little bit overplayed, or they have been as of late, I really like the found footage aspect of the first film, and I kind of think I might miss that. I don't know. I think going to a full film might be a mistake, but I would like to see more of the story, but more in a realistic setting instead of okay, now I'm watching a movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, number 3. This one's 21 and over. It's teen comedy written and directed by John Lucas and Scott Moore, who are the writers of The Hangover. This film stars a bunch of fucking people I've never heard of before. Mm-hmm. When straight-A student Jeff Chang's two best friends take him out for his 21st birthday on the night before an important medical school interview, what was supposed to be a quick beer becomes a night of humiliation, overindulgence, and utter debauchery. Honestly, Scott and fucking Aaron, you goddamn asshole, stepping all over my dick on this one. Scott, this sounds like a remake of your college experience, minus the straight A's and being smart enough to get into med school part. Care to relive a slightly modified biopic of your misspent youth?
I got a 3.9, damn it. Come on. I can't wait to see this one. It's dumb fun. You guys love your explosions and your machine gun fire and that kind of popcorn, check your brain at the door. This is my kind of check your brain at the door movie. I want to go with a bunch of people and just laugh. Tell me you watched this trailer and didn't laugh at least 2 or 3 times.
I know it looks funny.
It looks funny, especially when he's getting down.
Oh, that I don't care how many times I see that trailer, I laugh out loud.
When he says get down and he just starts
doing what
robot.
you told him to. Or the first trailer I saw was when they go to throw him out the window and he
bounces off
over the pool or whatever. Oh, I just can't wait. I don't know. It just looks funny. I can't wait.
I think it looks very funny. It was one of the first trailers I really laughed out loud. The first time I saw it, but I've got a scary feeling that it's one of those where all of the funny jokes are in the trailer.
I hope not.
Well, and not to sound like the old man, but I am almost twice the age of these guys. And whereas The Hangover had a bunch of guys near my own age that I could kind of go along with, watching a bunch of idiot kids run around doing dumb shit, maybe funny. I don't know. I'm not quite as sold on this, but it does look funny. We'll wait and see.
I'm still willing to do dumb shit, and I'm not young, so I'll do it. I'll watch it.
Well, yeah, well, stupid is as stupid does. All right, Jack the Giant Slayer. Now, this is a fantasy adventure film based on the Jack the Giant Killer and Jack and the Beanstalk fairy tales. The film is directed by Bryan Singer and stars Nicholas Hoult, who was in the aforementioned Warm Bodies, Eleanor Tomlinson, Stanley Tucci, Ian McShane, Bill Nighy, and Ewan McGregor, with a screenplay written by Darren Lemke, Christopher McQuarrie, who I've heard of. I don't remember why I've heard of him. But
He wrote The Way of the Gun.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
And Dan Studney. Development of this film actually began back in 2009 when DJ Caruso was going to direct it, but when he backed out, Singer came in and hired McQuarrie to rework the script in 2010. So this one's been in development for a little while. When Jack, a young farmhand, accidentally opens a gateway to the world of giants, an ancient war restarts as the giants, thought only of as legend, try to reclaim the world they lost centuries ago. Jack's forced into a fight to not only save his own life, but that of those in the kingdom and of the princess. Though it pains me to say it, given how much I like Bryan Singer's past work, this really just looks like Jack and the Giant Turd.
Mm-hmm.
Are any of you interested in this film at all?
I can't even a little bit get excited about it. This looks like the epitome of flop to me. A lot of money. Nobody's going to go see it.
Oh, I think it'll be a hit.
You think so?
I don't know about a hit, but it'll make money.
Oh,
I don't want to see it. I have no desire, but it's a great family concept, so I think a lot of families will want to go check it out. I'm sure it's in 3D or 4D or 8D, whatever.
Yeah, it's in 3D.
Yeah. People will go see it, man. Families will go see it.
I've probably got the most, and that's relatively speaking, of course, but interest. These giants look pretty vicious. I like the fact that it's a lot of giants and not just one giant that's hanging out in a cloud, although I don't know why a lot of them makes it better that they're hanging out in clouds, but I like special effects. I don't know. This looks somewhat neat. It looks a little bit over the top with some of the characters, though.
Put that in the poster. Put that in the poster. Brian Williams, The Hollywood Outsider. This looks neat.
It looks somewhat neat.
Somewhat neat.
It's no battleship, but it looks neat.
But I would go, if I went to see it, I would go in there with some very low expectations. But I've got a feeling it's kind of like Hugo in a way where it looks good, but it's just not going to get quite the, maybe the hoopla that it might deserve. Not to say that it is on level with Hugo, because I thought Hugo was great, much to Justin's disagreement. But anyway.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, well, enough spent on this piece of shit.
Absolutely.
Our last.
I thought you just got a list of shitty movies this week.
And can I just tell you, I want to give Justin props, because normally I would say that any fantasy movie he just gives a pass to, or he just falls in love with.
It's true.
Apparently, it is not true.
Well, if it were
It's
sci-fi.
fantasy and it's Bryan Singer. I mean, it's got two things going for it. Ugh.
Now, if it was Jack the Giant Slayer in space, then Justin.
All right. Now we're talking. You're getting me back in the theater. Film number 5, Stoker. This is a psychological thriller directed by Park Chan-wook, who is the famed director of the Vengeance trilogy. People may know one of those films more than the other ones, Old Man, and written by Ted Fulke, who, it so happens, is a pen name for Wentworth Miller, former star and now dead guy from the Fox show Prison Break. He just uses Ted Fulke as his little pen name so that anything he writes will work on its own merits and not because the Wentworth Miller name is dragging it along.
I've heard he's a very talented writer, actually.
I'm sure he is, and I'm actually kind of surprised. I don't know if that's an insult to him or what, but I didn't see this coming. It stars Mia Wasikowska, Matthew Good, and Nicole Kidman. It's the last movie to be produced by Tony Scott, who died during its production. Enigmatic Uncle Charlie moves in with India and her emotionally unstable mother Evelyn after the death of India's father. Although suspicions about his motives are raised, India and Evelyn soon find themselves drawn to him. Brian, what do you think of this one? Park Chan-wook's involvement makes me really curious, but I don't know if that's enough. It just seems a little artsier than I usually care for. What about you?
I would totally agree with you. It looks like something I would check out on Netflix. one of those where you see like, oh yeah, I remember that movie from about 6 months ago. I think I'll give it a shot, but I'm not going to spend $10 to go to the big screen and see it.
It looks like it's trying to be intense, but I can't really tell what is so intense about it.
I can't disagree with all of you. So I'm sorry. I really want to see this really bad. I didn't even know it was coming out this weekend until like the last minute. But man, it's my kind of movie. And this is the director of Old Boy. I think he's gonna bring.
Old Boy, shit! Did I say Old Man?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, he said Old Man. That's all right. That's all right. He's probably a man by now.
Yeah. Old Man. That's such a good movie too.
He's a very talented director. I want to see what he brings to it. And I really think he's going to bring a little something. And Nicole Kidman, even though I'm not a fan of hers, really,
she looks good in this.
She looks really good. Mm-hmm. So I'm on board. I'm on board. I want to see it.
All right, guys. Well, of these 5 films, Phantom, The Last Exorcism II, 21 and Over, Jack the Giant Slayer, and Stoker, which of them are you most likely to go see in theaters this weekend? Aaron?
Stoker.
Scotty?
21 and Over.
Brian?
Last Scissorcism.
Yeah, I got to go with Brian. I'm up for The Last Exorcism II, Biblical Boogaloo.
Okay.
Maybe that's how you can put it. So Brian and I, we win.
That's the whole pick of the week.
That's
then.
it.
All right.
There you go.
Well, you can hear us on iTunes, Zoom, Google Listener, Stitcher Radio app. Give us a thumbs up if you do, or any RSS feed, as well as RockfordCollegeRadio.com Thursdays from 4 to 6.
What's this movie?
What's this movie? Each week we play ours or our listeners suggest a clip from a movie, and if you think you know what the clip is, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com or send us a direct message on Twitter at @H_outsider. We will announce those that got it correct on the air and give you a proper whole shout-out. Last week's answer was Scott's choice, and it was Tombstone. Those that got it right were Sean M., John R., Mr. Anyone, Michael H., and Greg S. There. I hope I got everybody. That was actually a great choice. This week, yeah, well, every once in a while you do something right. This week it is Justin's turn, so if you think you know what it is, email us at feedback at The Hollywood Outsider. Here's your clip.
The dreams of youth are the regrets of maturity. Dreams are my speciality. Through dreams, I influence mankind. My dream is of eternity with you. I offer you this rose, princess.
Okay, now let's go to the couch where we talk about the latest movie and TV news. Really only one TV story. Robin Williams and Sarah Michelle Gellar are going to star in a new CBS pilot called Crazy Ones, about a father-daughter team at an ad agency. Justin, you love Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I do.
Almost as much as, well, no more than I do. What do you think about her coming back in a comedy?
She's funny. Sarah Michelle Gellar is actually a very funny actress, and I think she's going to do great in this. My concern comes in more with Robin Williams. He is for me very hit and miss when he's doing something that requires some actual acting talent. You know, whether we're talking about The Fisher King or Dead Poets Society, he does a great job. But as soon as he starts trying to get silly, it's like a rocket sled right into a brick wall. It just kills me, and I get so sick of him really fast. So these two playing father and daughter working at an ad agency, it sounds like it could work. I'm really curious to see it. Though Williams, he does make me hesitate.
Me too. I'm kind of, I'm on the fence about it. I like Robin Williams. I mean, he hasn't done a TV show since Mork and Mindy. And I think he used to be really, really funny, but used to is a long time ago. He hasn't been funny in a while. So
For Greatest Dad, he was, really good in that too. But again, it was a dark kind of a character where he couldn't just, slapstick his way through all of it.
I actually like him more as a dramatic actor.
Yeah, I do too.
And Justin, you saw 0 Hour, which is, I think, not even on TV yet, right?
Well, it just had its premiere last week.
Okay.
And before anybody wants to jump up, I am not reneging on my new policy of not watching a show until it either gets a second season or has great enough word of mouth about that first season. This pilot was purely up on iTunes. I downloaded it just to see if it was all right. with no plans on watching it, because this show, as entertaining as I found some aspects, I was let down in others. I don't think this show is going to make it through a full season. I don't know. 0 Hour, what it's about, and it's very, very Losty. If you're not a fan of Lost or that kind, or Alias, back when Alias was all about the Rambaldi stuff, you are not going to get into this show, because it's about Anthony Edwards' character. His wife is kidnapped by a man who wants something from him, and it's a clock that was created by this secret sect of
Rosicrucians.
the Rosicrucians. It's this whole Vatican thing, making new apostle kind of stuff. It looks like it's got some really interesting elements to it, and I'm a big mythology, big fan of shows that take a high concept and really work it. I'm just afraid that they're gonna try and get a little too slick with it, and that they're gonna just not give it what it needs to be. And I'm really afraid that an audience is not going to stick around for this kind of show. It is interesting, though. I'm hoping it'll carry on.
I would agree with you. I watched it also and was very, very surprised. I like the fact that it's, like you say, it's got a number of different elements that, I don't know, you may or may not really kind of put together. You've got Nazis, you've got almost like time travel stuff. If you look at the preview of what's coming at the end of the episode, at where, what's coming up this season type of thing, there's time travel type stuff. It's out there, and I'm afraid that it may be out there too far to where this may not an audience may not stay attached to this series. But I hope they do, because it's got me hooked. It's something kind of fresh and kind of I like that. So.
What channel is this on?
It's on ABC.
ABC. Well, they might give it a chance. They actually hold some shows. They let Last Resort finish its 13 episodes and gave it an ending, so it's possible. No,
Possible. They didn't give that same treatment to 666. What was it? Park Avenue and a couple other shows. They axed those pretty quick.
Oh, man, that show had promise, too.
Yeah,
who knows?
It lied. Let's go to DVD and Blu-ray, Scotty.
February 26th, we've got a couple of releases here. The first is The Master. This is a naval veteran.
Smart documentary.
Yeah. A naval veteran arrives home from war, unsettled and uncertain of his future, until he is tantalized by The Cause and its charismatic leader. It stars Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix. It's getting a lot of Oscar buzz. I have yet to talk to anybody that saw it that enjoyed it. So
a buddy of mine saw it and loved it.
Really?
Loved it.
Well, Scotty didn't talk to him.
I didn't talk
Exactly.
to him.
You should have talked to him. His name's Jared. Nice guy.
All right. Chasing Mavericks. This is basically, to sum up, Gerard Butler teaching a younger version of himself how to surf. That's pretty much the movie in a nutshell. How to Survive a Plague. This is a story of two coalitions whose activism and innovation turned AIDS from a death sentence into a manageable condition. On TV, we've got The Client List. This is Jennifer Love Hewitt, who's playing the newest prostitute you're supposed to feel sorry for. That's not fair. I haven't seen it.
She's a mother with a heart of gold.
Exactly. No, in all seriousness, she's a single mother and decides to build a client list.
It's a lucky kid.
Pretty much. And then lastly, we've got a Saturday release, which is March
What?
2nd.
Yeah.
Just for
Why do you
Justin.
get fucked up enough? Now they got to go to Saturday?
Oh, yeah, you're going to line up at Best Buy for Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2 on Tuesday? Is that what it was? Yes, the final installment of the Twilight saga. If you don't know about that movie, where have you been living under a rock for the past however many years? So,
Ooh, yeah. Hit me with that unknown shit. Flashback.
next, we'll go on to our flashback segment. This is where each week one of us brings to the table a little-known or obscure movie that we'd like the rest of us to check out. And this week, it's actually my turn. I've been really excited to talk about this film. It was one that came out on DVD actually within the last year. It's called Safety Not Guaranteed. And I'm going to preface this by saying the story seems completely silly, but it does turn out to be a much sweeter movie than I ever anticipated. It stars Mark Duplass, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that name, but he's on the TV show on FX called The League, and he places a classified ad in the paper, looking for someone to time travel with him, and claiming that he's discovered how to time travel. So this group of magazine journalists are sent out to basically write a story on him. more or less to make fun of him because they think he's crazy. So this group heads out to question him, and questions are questions are risen as to whether or not he's actually figured out how to time travel or not. And that plays into
the Riz is in it?
Yes.
I want to see it now.
So basically, it's alluded to that he might have actually figured out how to time travel or not, and that plays into the story in a really interesting way. It also stars Aubrey Plaza, whom I didn't the only place I recognized her from was she was in Scott Pilgrim. She played the grumpy employee. You probably remember that, Justin.
Yeah, she also plays the grumpy employee in Parks and Rec.
Oh, there you go. So there's bigger fame there. And it's hard to sell you guys in a movie with such a silly premise. I went into this wanting to see the guy from The League play something other than that same character, the juvenile, vulgar character that he does on there. The story goes some places I didn't expect it, and I think the three reporters that go to check on him are a really good mix of interesting, unexpected characters that really mold well together. I just asked that you give it a shot. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very sweet. It's called Safety Not Guaranteed. Highly recommend it.
All right. Now let's go to our From the Outside In topic. This week, here's the topic. Are there just plain too many damn award shows? I mean, we'll give you the big ones, the Oscars, even the Grammys, the Emmys, whatever. But you've got the Oscars and the Golden Globes, and in accompanying that, you've got the SAG Awards, the WGAs, the Spirit Awards, the PGAs, DGAs, and on and on and on and on. At some point, does it really start to dilute the whole purpose of the thing? Now, Justin, I know you have a lot of strong feelings, so we'll start with you. Are you sick of freaking award shows?
Well, I mean, all it really does is it paints that industry as the most back-clapping industry on the planet. I mean, how many people have to tell you, you did a good job for you to feel fucking good about what you did? It's ridiculous. Does any other industry have this many awards, this many opportunities for people to say, hey, you did a great job. You should carry on with this sort of thing. It's
they
ridiculous.
even have an award show or an award presentation for publicists.
Do they really?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just, it makes them look egomaniacal as hell. And I don't even pay attention. SAG is maybe I'll be interested depending on who they give the award to, but Golden Globes and Oscars are really the only two that I'm even halfway interested in, and that interest is fairly minimal compared to especially Aaron.
Well, the Golden Globes I love because everybody's drunk by about halfway through because they allow drinking at that one, and right there at the table, I mean, so people are just plastered. And
well,
plus,
it's the foreign press, so you hopefully get a little more distance, but shit.
And plus, they have that separation of TV and movie people, where the TV people aren't good enough to sit with the movie people, and they're way in the back. So every time they win, they actually want to lose because they know they have to walk through all the movie people that they're not good enough to hang out with. So that's a fun show to watch. The Oscars, I love, and that's just because I grew up with it. But a lot of and it has a lot of personal memories, but SAG Awards, and they just keep adding, like every year, I swear there's another fucking award show.
What are WGAs?
The Writers
Guild.
Okay.
Writers Guild, Producers Guild, the Directors Guild, Screen Actors Guild, Spirit Awards, and then there's also every...
At least the Spirit Awards are for indies.
That's true.
Those films that aren't probably going to pop up outside of a category or two of the Oscars or Golden Globes.
I don't know if this is a knock though on like the actors though, because I think this is more of a knock on everybody that's involved in the movies thinks that their opinion matters as much as the Academy. If you've got the Directors Guild,
I'll be honest with you. I think most of the reason that this stuff happened, these award shows happen, I'm taking the Oscars out of it because they've been around for 70 whatever years the number is. It's for publicity. That's it. That's all it is, to make more money off their movie. There's really no other reason to have these continuous awards because the Oscars are where the Screen Actors Guild, the Writers Guild, the Producers Guild, and the Directors Guild all would vote. I mean, they all vote there. They could have their little ceremonies. It doesn't have to be televised like all of them are now. But people are caught up in the glamour. They're basically just pimping clothes and movies. Clothes and movies.
But do you think the average Joe Blow moviegoer watches all of these award shows and is going to be open to that marketing, as you're calling it?
Some movie buffs will watch them. I'm a huge movie. I mean, everybody knows I love the Oscars. I don't watch these. I might watch SAGs, like Justin said.
That's what I'm
watch
saying.
That, but I don't care about the rest of them.
That's my point. If even you don't watch them, and you're like one of the biggest movie,
I'm not
guys
their
I
target
know.
audience, though.
Right, but do you think these normal people are watching, even know what the SAGs are, the WGAs and PGAs?
Yes,
and
man, they get
DGAs?
ratings. People are watching them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Screen Actors Guild is huge on TNT, and the other ones are big in other areas. And it's just like this big cycle that just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Every single season, there seems to be another awards show on TV. And I don't know why that is. I just can't understand it.
And then my opinion is there might be too many, but like you said, it's not targeted for me. I don't watch them. I watch the Oscars just because it's not a tradition, not in the sense that you watch it, because you've been watching since as early as you can remember. But that's a fun Sunday night just to kind of sit and watch and see something to talk about at the water cooler the next day about, did you hear this joke or hear that song that was played? You kind of get a good mixture of music and film and sometimes some good speeches. I like seeing they usually, is it the Lifetime Achievement Award? They do that. That's always cool to see someone that really deserves some very high honors. But everything else, I'm not going to say it's too many because I just don't watch them. I just don't have any interest in seeing them. I think it's funny that you say they're there to sell clothes, because that's, I swear they spend more time on the red carpet than they do the actual.
They do. I mean, E
event.
has like a whole afternoon devoted to every frickin' one of them. It's really stupid.
And that's painful to watch.
Well, there's a lot of people like it. I don't get it, but a lot of people like it.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand it. The thing that I don't like about it mostly is it takes away the thrill of the Oscars, because a lot of these are the same nominations, the same awards, and by the time it gets to the Oscars, and I don't watch them, but it doesn't matter because I hear about them all over the internet every time they do the awards. I mean, I hear all the winners and so swept the Argo won, and by the time I get to the Oscars, you just get it in your head. Well, you kind of already know who's going to win, and that just takes a lot of the fun out of it for me. I don't know about any of you.
I don't know. I remember your picks not being very good last year. So apparently all of these wins and stuff doesn't exactly translate to the Oscars. Booyah!
Wow, how's that Blu-ray you won last year, by the way?
It's awesome because it was free.
I hate Brian. Also, Sean M asked, "Are the Oscars too long?" I'll let you guys answer that.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I don't think so either.
You want to take turns?
I actually watched the whole thing front to back last year, and
ugh, you poor fucker.
I enjoyed it.
You
Again,
need
I don't.
more shit in your life.
Again, I don't. Yeah. Again, I don't watch all the others. This is the one award show I watch. I don't watch the Golden Globes or the SAGs. Oscars is the only one I watch, and it was entertaining from front to back for me.
I like the speeches. I like it when they run late. I like it when they talk back to the producers or whoever that's trying to wrap them up. Unfortunately, we tend to do the same thing. And short of Aaron typing on Skype saying "shut up," we don't have to worry about that. But I like that. I like that. I like seeing the genuine emotions when somebody that may be unexpected, really didn't think they had a shot when they actually win it. Maybe even if they've never won it before, and maybe they do think they've got a chance at winning it, and it just hits them that bam, I just won my Oscar.
I love that you say that
I've reached that highest award that you can get, and that's pretty cool.
I love that you say that you love seeing their genuine reactions. They're actors, man. How do we know they're genuine?
No,
I'm sorry. There's I understand your point, and yes, they are, but there's some, and I'm not saying maybe some of them have, but there's some of those memorable acceptance speeches and stuff where, I'm sorry, the way they're shaking and convulsing and crying, that's not acting.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with Brian. I disagree with I actually agree with Justin on this, which really surprises me.
This makes twice.
I know, in a whole episode. People should just frame this shit. Just slap it on the wall. I think the Oscars are about...
That's what she said.
Jesus Christ, Brian. I think the Oscars are about 30 minutes too long.
30?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm fine with the 3 hours because I like a lot of the set pieces. This year they're going to do a James Bond thing. I'm really looking forward to that. They're honoring musicals. That sounds interesting. I like a lot of the different awards, and I really like that they honor the smaller guys, cinematographers, things like that. People that
I thought you meant Peter Dinklage.
That's TV.
I like that they approach those. I don't like that they cut their speeches down to about 8 seconds, but hey, that's neither here nor there. I'm fine. 3 hours, keep it from 7 to 10, then it should cut off. When it goes to like 11, 11:15, It's too long. Too long.
I'm too impatient.
My morbidly favorite part is the obituaries part.
In memoriam,
I do actually kind of
because you're like they were still alive.
the applause meter.
Yeah.
the applause meter. That is kind of sad that like
It's kind of funny to gauge like what, like you say, when a cinematographer comes on there, or a writer that wrote, I don't know, an episode of the Rockford Files, and all of a sudden the applause dies down, and then Charlton Heston or somebody, whoever, just comes on, and it's like,
Yeah.
not Charlton Heston's still alive. I think.
I have far too much to do to sit there and spend 3.5 hours watching a bunch of people just self-congratulate. Of course, then again, I'm the guy that I will let a football game play halfway through and then start watching it just so I can skip the commercials. I'll even, as soon as the play's done, I'll hit that 30-second skip so I don't have to sit around waiting for the next play to get started. I got shit to do.
Like what? Laundry?
I got books to write. I got shit to edit. I got shit to do.
He's like, I got Game of Thrones, bitch. I ain't got all
Damn,
night.
yeah. I should be watching that right now. Let's hurry the fuck up.
Look, you can take 3.5 hours out of the year to watch the award show that revolves around this podcast.
This is true.
That literally pays you dozens of pennies every year.
If the Oscars actually played out the way the much more prestigious Ho Awards played out,
There you go.
I would watch that.
There
But
you
they
go.
don't. I told you guys earlier, of all of these films that are nominated, I've seen one of them. And I feel bad about that, but I have very little interest in seeing so many of these movies in a theater. Hell, less interest for some of them at home. So it's a bunch of movies being congratulated that I didn't watch and don't care to see. Let me know when Transformers 3 gets when Optimus Prime gets a Lifetime Achievement Award. Then I'll tune in.
For the Multiple Planets Saved Award.
Oh my god. That would be
the most
so
badass
fantastic.
transformation scene.
He'll show up when Michael Bay finally wins Best Director. That'll make your day.
Yeah, that'll end the world.
All right, let's do our Oscar picks. You guys ready?
Yep.
Okay, this is where we all are going to give you our pick for who we think is going to win. Now, if you listen to this after the awards, you'll know if we're right or wrong. So, the winner, whoever of us gets them all correct, they get to pick next week's topic, whatever they want. Even if they want to talk about Star Wars for 15 minutes, that's what we have to fucking talk about. Whatever it is.
That just sounds like you're creating more work for us.
It's basically an open book. I can't cut anything that you want to do.
Oh
so
man, you guys better hope I don't win. We're talking about video games for half an hour.
Well, it has to be movie related, so you better have a movie related version. Okay, so here we go. Let's start from director first. Best director. The nominees are Michael Haneke for Amour, Ang Lee for Life of Pi, David O. Russell for Silver Linings Playbook, Steven Spielberg for Lincoln, Ben Zeitlin for Beasts of the Southern Wild. Scott, who's your pick?
I toyed back and forth.
I don't need your story. Just who'd you pick?
I'm still like debating. That's why.
I was looking at these selections and I didn't have the highest of expectations.
Screwed. I'll go with my original Ang Lee, Life of Pi.
Okay, Justin.
Stupid.
I'm going to go with Steven Spielberg.
Brian.
Dummy. I'm going to go with Silver Linings Playbook director David O. Russell. I believe this will... Well, never mind. I'll save that. David O. Russell.
I agree. David O. Russell. Brian and I are on the same page there. Let's go with... And we're only doing the top categories. We're not doing all of them. Best Supporting Actress. Amy Adams for The Master. Sally Field for Lincoln. Anne Hathaway for Les Miserables. Helen Hunt for The Sessions. Jackie Weaver for Silver Linings Playbook. Justin.
I got to go with Anne Hathaway. Bitch sang.
Scott.
I was also going Anne Hathaway.
Brian.
Y'all suck. Yeah, she's been nominated twice. She's Hollywood's darling. She sang. Sally Field, I don't see winning it. She wasn't that good in Lincoln. Helen Hunt, I don't think is quite back yet. Jackie Weaver, nah. Yeah, Anne Hathaway is just by process of elimination.
Well,
and The Master, I'm sorry, Joaquin Phoenix, with the shit that he's been pulling over the last few years with his
You mean
kookiness.
Amy Adams and The Master?
Yeah, but I'm getting to Amy Adams, but he has been such a drag on freaking Hollywood that there's no way The Master is winning any of these big categories. So therefore, Amy Adams will not get it.
That is the longest reason why you're picking Anne Hathaway I could possibly think of.
Yeah, but it's right. So deal with it.
I'm picking Anne Hathaway as well. I think she's the lock. Best Supporting Actor: Alan Arkin for Argo, Robert De Niro for Silver Linings Playbook, Philip Seymour Hoffman for The Master, Tommy Lee Jones for Lincoln, and Christoph Waltz for Django Unchained. Brian.
All right. My rationale, not quite as long. Christoph Waltz won it once for a Tarantino movie. Won't happen again. He would be my pick to win it if it was solely my choice. But that being said, I'm going with Alan Arkin.
It sure seems this long. I'm going with Robert De Niro, Silver Linings Playbook. Scott?
I'm going with Phil Hoffman for The Master, although I want Christoph Waltz to win it as well.
And Justin?
I'm going with Christoph Waltz. Fuck y'all.
All right.
I hope you're right.
I do too.
He's already won. So as far as I'm concerned, it's
You're
anybody's
not gonna.
game.
It's not going to. Lightning ain't striking twice.
Exactly.
Not for a Tarantino movie.
Best Actress. The nominees: Jessica Chastain for Zero Dark 30, Jennifer Lawrence for Silver Linings Playbook, Emmanuelle Riva for Amour, and who the fuck she is, Wallace?
Well, she's a little girl. You can't even make a token effort for a little
He said token.
girl.
Quasi
You
Shani.
racist
Talking about
fuck.
Wallace.
Quaven Jane.
What you talking about, Wallace? Whoa. Oh, Beast of the Southern Wild and Naomi Watts for The Impossible. I can't pronounce her name. It's Quvenzhane with a little swiggy.
Right. Yeah. I won't even give you shit about that name.
Justin.
People, direct all of your hate mail to
Justin
Aaron
the
at
Pumper.
thehollywoodoutsider.com.
Here,
Justin.
I'll tell you what. Better yet, call Justin and bitch about it. Here's his phone number.
I'm going to go with Jennifer Lawrence. She's been getting nothing but incredible buzz about Silver Linings Playbook, so she gets my vote.
Scotty.
I have the same pick, Jennifer Lawrence.
Brian.
Wanted to go with Jessica Chastain, but again, Jennifer Lawrence is another one of those sweethearts. She was nominated a couple years ago, didn't get it. Now's her time. Jennifer Lawrence.
I concur. Jennifer Lawrence. Best Actor. Gee, I wonder who we're all going to pick. The nominees are Bradley Cooper for Silver Linings Playbook, Daniel Day-Lewis in I Win Every Fucking Award Known to Man, or Lincoln, Hugh Jackman, Les Miserables, Joaquin Phoenix for The Master, and Denzel Washington for Flight. Scott.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Justin.
I'm going Bradley Cooper.
Nice.
I think Daniel Day-Lewis is he's too much the obvious choice. I think Bradley Cooper represents a new generation of Hollywood actors, and I think he's got a lot of fans out there. I think it's his to win it.
Brian.
Daniel Day-Lewis. He totally owned the Lincoln role. Made you forget it was even an actor playing it. You actually kind of thought it was actually Lincoln. So, except for that thing about it being about 150 years ago. But that,
Minor details.
it took you there for 2.5 hours. So, Daniel Day-Lewis owned it. That's my choice.
Justin, I think Bradley Cooper deserves it more, but I think Daniel Day-Lewis is going to win because he's won
That's
everything.
why we're here.
Yeah. So, okay, now we get to the big kahuna. That is Best Picture. The nominees are, and there's 9 of them, Amour, Argo, Beast of the Southern Wild, that has that What You Talking About Willis girl, according to Brian, which is, if we don't get hate mail, I will be shocked. Django Unchained, Les Miserables, Life of Pi, Lincoln, Silver Linings Playbook, and Zero Dark 30. Justin, what is your pick for Best Picture?
Cloud Atlas. Oh wait, no, we're picking from this fucking list. I picked Steven Spielberg for Best Director. I have to go Lincoln for Best Picture.
All right, interesting. Scotty?
Silver Linings Playbook. I think the subject matter is a little bit more Oscar bait than even Lincoln is, and the movie was fantastic anyway. I think that it's going to be a surprise one.
Brian?
Negative. It's Argo all the way.
I agree.
No. I don't think. I think if they do,
No, hey, it's my
nothing
pick.
but
You
stroking.
had 2 cents and you put it back in your pocket. Because I ain't hearing it.
Ben Affleck should have been in Best Director. They didn't, and I think if he gets it in this, they're just saying sorry.
And best picture is going to make all of those sore spots feel a lot better.
I can tell you, Argo's won most of the Best Picture awards. Ben Affleck has won every Best Director except the one category he's not nominated in. I mean, he won the DGA. What's that?
Which is retarded.
Yes, it is. Honestly, I think he's wronged. I normally don't buy into that stuff, but I think he was actually slighted. But it is what it is, and I think Argo's going to win. I think they're taking it home.
That's how they're making it up to him. They're like, our bad.
Mm-hmm. And plus, George Clooney is loved by the Academy, and he's a producer on Argo. Wouldn't you love to see a Ben Affleck, George Clooney? That's like the best-looking speech ever given in the history of man.
I'd rather see Cloud Atlas win it.
Well, they declined. They declined. Now let's go to emails. Let us know what you guys think. Make sure you enter our I'm a Ho contest. Justin, if you can find details on the website at thehollywoodoutsider.com. Justin, we've got an email. Go.
All right, this one's from Greg. He says, Tombstone, boom. Also, some thoughts on your new episode. After hearing his thoughts on religion, Justin is now confirmed to be my favorite Ho. Pixar released Toy Story 3 11 years after Toy Story 2. It's one of their best films. I agree that Cars and its sequel are awful, but I'm looking forward to Monsters and Nemo sequels, and I think their successes or failures will be based on the quality of storytelling and not the expected plots or time since the originals. When considering a possible director for The Wizard of Oz, consider the Sci-Fi Channel made-for-TV film Tin Man. It was flawed but fun and is a great example of how flexible the source material is. Thanks so much for continuing to make one of my favorite podcasts, Greg. And I appreciate that, Greg. I should be everybody's favorite Ho.
You're even my mom's favorite Ho.
No, I can't blame her.
Yeah, me neither.
I am me.
You are pretty
Jennifer
special.
Love Hewitt's my favorite Ho.
Your mom is my favorite Ho.
Yeah. She's good.
Remember to enter our Oscar prediction contest. Email us your predictions by February 24th at 6 p.m. to theoutsider@thehollywoodoutsider.com. The subject line should say, I'm an Oscar Ho, to be entered to win. The categories are up on the show notes as well as the website. So go to our website and you'll see. You can always find us at thehollywoodoutsider.com. Stay through the credits for outtakes, or at facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsider. Make sure y'all like us, because we want to be loved. Email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com if you have any ideas or topic suggestions. Tell your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Zoom, Google Reader, listen to your Stitcher radio app, or any plain old RSS feed, as well as Rockford College Radio, Thursdays from 4 to 6. I can't speak anymore. I want to thank... Says Justin, really? I want to thank the podcasters. Brian Williams, thanks for being here, buddy.
Hey.
All right.
Or goodbye.
Justin McCumber, author of A Minor Magic, available now on Amazon paperback and Kindle.
Thank you very much. And on behalf of all of the Hoes, Miss Carrie Fisher, I apologize for these fuckwits. You are a beautiful woman.
Yeah, if it's 1984. Yep. Scott Clark.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Sexist asshole.
And
sexist.
Hey man, age is better to some than others.
How is it sexist if she looks like she got hit with a hammer?
Y'all ain't bitching about how fucking tired and drawn and cracked like the Grand Canyon faced Harrison Ford is. You didn't hardly say anything about Mark Hamill until I brought it up. But Carrie Fisher immediately gets the she's fat, she will be doing this blah blah.
Okay, women still find Harrison Ford attractive.
Even
no guy in their right mind wants to anywhere near Carrie Fisher.
I tell you what, Justin, you get Carrie Fisher now to whip out that Princess Leia bikini. Tell me you still...
Hey, I'm not saying that she's ready to slip into it, but I'm not going to sit here and deride her because she doesn't fit in it.
I will deride her because she has a nasty coke and alcohol habit.
No, she used to. As far as I'm aware, she's clean. She's been over it. She's clean. So unless you want to go ahead and throw that at everybody else who's ever had it.
How about I'll deride her for that Kathleen Turner, like 80 years smoker's voice that she's got going on.
Hey, listen here, Luke.
Hey, Luke.
Help me avoid me, Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Dr. Saber, but this corset's a bit tight.
That's all right, Justin. Champion for the underserved.
I'm sure she listens to our podcast.
We'll hammer Harrison Ford.
She might. She's got nothing else going on. I'm sorry, Carrie Fisher. Okay, well, from everybody at the Hollywood Outsider except Justin because he's mad at us, make sure the next time you go to a theater, buy popcorn.
What you talking about, Wallace? Basically, with all the Jedi robes and all that stuff, you can hide most of the, what's her face,
Carrie
Fisher.
Fisher.
Carrie Fisher.
Jesus.
So,
Let's stop beating up on the poor girl.
Why? Sounds like looks like she's still taking a pounding. Sorry.
I love how he writes, yep, I'm going to edit that out. I just said it, and we're not going to say it.
I'll leave it in. Fuck it. All right, let's go to Brian's trailer park. No, that's gone.
Sexist pigs.
Shut up, that is...
How is it sexist? She looks like she's been hit by Thor's hammer in the
Because
face.
you only bring it up for her. None of the other guys.
Oh, no,
ever
we
get
said
shit.
Mark Hamill looked like shit, too.
No, after I brought him up.
Oh, I was more than capable of saying it. Trust me. He is a hideous-looking man.
He's been a hideous-looking man since...
All I know
Empire
is all the
Strikes
ladies are going to be emailing and backing me up.
Well, when we get all those emails. No, I think we're going to get more emails because of what you're talking about, Wallace.
Quavinjani.
I prefer to think of her as Ote.
Her nicknames are...
I was ready at 8 o'clock, bitch. Don't blame me. Blame Brian.
Yep.
Well, I blame him for about 40 minutes. I'm blaming you for the last 15.
He can't hear you. He walked away from the table again.
Fucking asswipe. Fuck you, Aaron.
I already knew what you were going to say, Justin. I didn't feel I needed to stick around for that. This guy went to Florida and he was like telling me how he was freezing his balls off.
Well, I went out with a T-shirt assuming that I'm in Florida. It would be okay.
Get to burn a couple of Jews together to stay warm.
See a couple of Jews?
Yeah. But they're kind of old and wrinkly. They burn quicker. They catch.
like flash paper.